Hello, and thank you for checking out my Kickstarter. My name is Melissa K. McCarthy. I work in mental health and I'm a singer-songwriter. These two passions of mine have come together to create my upcoming album entitled Hourglass. This album really began 17 years ago when I lost my cousin Elliot to suicide. We were 6 months apart in age, and his death changed my life. I really don't know if I'd be working in the mental health field without him guiding me down this path. In those 17 years that have passed, we've also lost Elliot's half-brother Easton to a bike accident, and Easton was a phenomenal artist. We also lost my cousin Alex and my cousin Max, both to drug addiction. They both died by accidental overdose. So I know a thing or two about mental illness and have also lived it myself. I've battled depression, and here I am 17 years later. I'm in a place where I feel like I have some things to share. I've learned so much about time and how it passes like sand in an hourglass. This album is a collection of 10 original songs that all tell stories of where I was in particular moments, witnessing grief, loss, and love. Completing a studio album has been on my list of things to accomplish, and I'm looking forward to being able to share this music that means so much to me. That's where you come in. I have been using my savings to fund this project. Back in 2020, when we were right in the middle of the start of this pandemic that just keeps going, I left a management position and moved 160 miles back to my favorite town here in La Crosse to work as a frontline crisis worker. Even though I took a huge pay cut, I have still moved forward with this project. Fortunately, I have moved on and I'm now working toward my social work certification as well. So lots of things going on in my life right now. And this album has been one of my priorities. If you're not familiar with Kickstarter, it's an all or nothing platform. If you make a pledge toward my album, but we don't meet the goal that I've set as $8,800, your credit card is not charged and I do not get any of the money that's been pledged. If you read through my story on the Kickstarter site, you'll see the expenses and the budget for this album. I've outlined it so you kind of get an idea of what it costs to put an album out there. I'm using Kickstarter as a way to raise the funding for these additional expenses of the printing of the CDs, the distribution, things like that, to get this music out there into people's hands. Fortunately, unlike some bands and artists that I know, I have not put any of this album on credit, and I really do not want to do this. So I've toyed with the idea of doing a Kickstarter and decided to give it a try. If I do not meet the goal and this album is not, if the Kickstarter is not funded, the album's going to happen. I will finish recording the album, but the next steps will not happen as quickly as I would like them to. We'd probably be looking at a release date of next year because I'm not willing to drain my savings. So with that, I want to make it known that by making a pledge toward this album, this is not a donation. You're not donating to my album. This is an investment in my music. And every pledge greater than $10 will get a digital copy of the album to download. The more you pledge, the more you'll get in return. Check it out on the site and you can see what you could get if you pledge up to, $100, $500. You'll see what is laid out there for you and what you can get. Check out the site, read through it. I have a lot more posted on the Kickstarter page, so you can take a look and see what this is all about and what you'll get. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Through the duration of this project and the Kickstarter, I will be providing updates, and I am super excited to get this music out to people because I think it's pretty relevant, especially with what we're going through and what we're seeing right now as this pandemic continues to drag on. A lot of people are struggling, and I have a feeling that this album is going to resonate with some people the way it has resonated with me and how it's helped me get through some pretty challenging times. So I so thank you for taking the time to read through my Kickstarter, and I look forward to seeing what comes about.